people around me are doing? Are they good examples for me? Or do they have their own problems? Am I going to do what my mother and father did? Well, my mother and father, they didn't grow up in the same town as me. Right? They grew up in a different era. And they have a different way of dealing with things. So what am I going to do? If I just go by random chance, the odds of my failing are very high. And so that's why I think that it's almost like wajib, or it's silly for somebody to say that, okay, if somebody's really keen on getting married, or they have a marriage that they want to preserve and they want it to flourish, I think that it's incumbent upon them to find out what are the Islamic teachings, what did the Ahlul Bayt do about this? Because when I look at them and I look at their family relationships, Baby Fatima and Hazrat Ali alayhi salam, that's what I see as example, not Oprah Winfrey, right? That's the example that I want. Okay, that's what inspires me. So it's a matter of survival. If I don't have a deeper understanding of my faith, then I'm not going to be able to survive. Okay, if I don't have a deeper understanding, that's one example. Let me give you an example. If I don't have a deeper understanding of my faith, then what's going to happen is that, as you might have seen, I'm going to feel less and less inclined to come to this center. Because, why do I come after all? It's a lot of people, it's not about the speech, right? It's about my friends. Okay, it's about the friends, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's good. It's a healthy thing that we have when we come and we meet our fellow brothers and sisters. But is it easier for me to drive all the way to the center at nighttime and find friends here, or is it easier for me to just do it back in my work and school? Obviously, easier to do it at school and work, right? So if I look at it from a cost trade-off, we're taught to look at things in an economic sense, right? From a cost trade-off, what's more difficult for me? To come to the center, and late at night after a long day, and deal with waiting in line for food, or should I just call my friends, my coworkers, and just go out to, I don't know, just go jack the box with them or something. That's easier, right? You see, brothers and sisters, it's no longer the case that we can rely on culture to tell us what to do and what not to do. For some of us here, like our parents, it was a natural thing for them to go to the center. Any occasion, any wiladat, any shahadat, month of Ramadan, month of Muharram, they're there because that's part of their culture. But as we get further and further from that immigration time, now we're people who have been born here, raised here, etc. Then we need another reason. We need a stronger reason that's going to keep us here. We need to understand very clearly what is the effect. If I have a Muslim friend versus a non-Muslim friend, what is the effect going to be on my soul? I need to understand at a deep level. If I'm not convinced of that, it's not going to happen. All right, well, it just be like, it's too much effort. It's easier for me to do the other thing. So you see, brothers and sisters, there's so many cases where if I want to survive, being in this non-Muslim society especially, I don't have my cultural background to fall upon. If I want to keep my identity, if I want to have success in my life, I need to have a deeper understanding of my faith. I can't just go through the motions. I can't just do things just because my parents did it. Let me share with you a very interesting, powerful tradition that we have from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, who says that whoever enters this religion because of people, okay, this is very important, brothers and sisters. Whoever enters this religion because of people, meaning, for example, I become a Muslim, I'm a Muslim because of my parents, or I'm a Muslim just because of my culture or whatever, people will take him out of the religion. The same way that they enter because of people, people will take them out. Something will happen and that's it. Okay, their being Muslim gets, it's just not in the picture anymore. But whoever enters it through the Quran and the Sunnah, the mountains will move before he moves. The mountains will move before he moves. There's a challenge there, brothers and sisters. Imam Sadiq is telling us that when it comes to your understanding of the faith, don't just do it don't do taqleed of your parents. Just because they did it. No. Have a deep understanding. I was very impressed. I met this young brother recently, just a couple of weeks back. And after some time, he told me that, brother, Salim, he said that I have recently made a decision to go back and understand again why I am a Muslim. And he didn't just say the question just to pose it out there and just to as an excuse. No, he was very serious. And so from the beginning, he was going and understanding, okay, first of all, why is there a God? Okay. Okay, that's why. I got that. Okay, now why does the God have to send messengers? Okay, that's why. Okay, now which messenger came, etc. Imams, the Day of Judgment, etc. And I could tell that this was somebody who was really serious about it. He was pursuing this quest that he had, and he had already made some progress. He was reading books, he was asking questions, and he was making progress in this. There's nothing wrong with asking questions. Okay, if anybody ever tells you that if you ask any more questions, then you better shut up, otherwise I'm going to hit you or something like that, right? That's not Islam. Okay, Islam is about asking questions, understanding why. Imam Ali was asked, is it okay for somebody to leave beside, not ask a question when he has a question that he needs to know the answer to? Imam Ali says no. If you have a question that you need the answer to, meaning that it's something to do with your faith, you have to ask the question. But the questions that we come up with shouldn't be the type of questions where, okay, we ask the question, and then if we don't get an answer, we use it as an excuse not to practice. Okay, we're just asking the question, and the reason for it actually goes back to our nafs. Our nafs is saying that, I don't want to practice, I don't want to fast, I don't want to pray, whatever it is, I don't want to observe the hijab, and that's why I'm asking this question, and then I'm going to be in the state of doubt, and even when the truth is presented to me, I'm not willing to listen to it. Even when I have the opportunity to ask questions, I don't go and ask the questions. That's the type of questioning that's not encouraged. But the other type of questioning is what we have to do. And the last point I want to make, brothers and sisters, is that if we don't ask questions, we should understand that this great, amazing ni'mah, the blessing that we have of Islam, the pure Islam, there's no guarantee that it's going to stay with us. Okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't need me or you for His faith. There's other people there who are willing and ready to take it. We live in a world right now where people are dying for spirituality. They've tried other things. They've realized that the stock market isn't going to take them where they want to get to. They're looking for spirituality. They're looking for love. They're looking for happiness. They're looking for peace. And if they only were to find out about what we have to offer them, especially Shiaism, this logical approach to understanding things and the depth that we have. Okay, it's not about big beards and miswaks. Okay, it's about being a good person and practicing and your faith and inshallah we'll be talking about what is our faith about. If they had that, they would go for it they would just be jumping at it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, "Ala bi dhikrillahi tatma'innul qulub." He says that be aware that there's one way that you can get that tranquility, that peace, that happiness, that bliss that you're looking for. And that is the path of Allah. The path of dhikr of Allah. The remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is exactly the same as the Sharia of Islam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran many times that if you do not do it, okay, if you turn away from it, سَوْفَ يَأْتِ اللَّهُ بِقَوْمٍ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bring other people and they'll take it. Okay? So it's our challenge, brothers and sisters. And I want to pose this challenge, inshallah, as a challenge for all of us in the remaining nights of the month of Ramadan. Let's try to come up with a deeper understanding of our faith, why we do what we do, ask the questions, challenge ourselves, and be strong. So strong that, as Imam Sadiq says, that زَالَتِ الْجِبَالُ قَبْلَ أَنْ يَسُودَ, that the mountains will move before he moves. Please recite salawat. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us to make the most out of the remaining nights of the month of Ramadan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless our families and the scholars. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant everyone in this room and all the mu'mineen their hajat, their needs in this holy month. Salawat.